beginner's guide to making a closure wig. This is my closure knob using 3 bundles of 14 inches hair. So I'm showing you right now how to insert your thread into the needle because you're gonna need a lot of this. So grab your food, rest your back and learn. Pin down the closure and I'm spraying with water right now and then combing it to make it easy for me to weave, which you'll be seeing in the rest part of this video. So as you can see, I'm almost done weaving and I'm holding the hair down with some hair clips to make it easy for me to sew my closure down on the cap. So while sewing your closure, ensure not to pass the needle and thread under the cap. Make sure to pass it in between the cap. You just pass it really gently in between the net and the cap, you know, to have like a very neat job, and also so your net and your cap is not going to be so, you know, so there's not really going to be so much going on there. And as you can see, while sewing, you pass the needle in between the thread. Take 2 ends of the thread and pass it in between. That's legit how you sew. So you keep on sewing round and keep on going round and round and round and round. And trust me, it is very easy. It is not too much, and it is very easy because you already pinned down the closure. And you know, also ensure not to pass the needle and thread into, you know, so much of the closure net, because you honestly don't want to do that. Trust me, just take it around the tip of the closure net, take it around, and you love it. You love how your job will come out nice. Just keep on going round in circles because that's honestly how you pinned it down, so it's also going to be very helpful. almost done sewing my closure and I'm almost getting to the end part. So while I get to the end part, I'll just get my sizzle and, you know, cut the thread to be able to tie it down. So right now I'm gonna take my scissor and cut it. You're gonna take the thread into double parts and you're going to tie it like 2 to 3 times. Yeah, so that's that. So I already pinned down my weave on and I'm just sewing it down round. So as you can see, I didn't pass it under the wig cap, I passed it in between the wig cap to make it easy. And you can decide to pass your needle and thread through the weft or not. I pass mine inside the weft. I don't pass it under the weft. The weft are those lines, those sewn lines that my needle is passing into right now. That's basically the weft. I pass it into the weft just to have like a more stable and secure sewing sew down, and that's basically what I'm doing. So I'll just keep on sewing round and round, and it's very easy for me this way because I already pinned it down. Yeah, so ensure to pin down your weave when you're sewing. It's going to be very easy for you. If you do not pin it down, you might have like a hard time sewing. It's gonna be a bit of struggle. I'm just trying to make it easy for myself by pinning it down, and you keep on sewing round till you get to the hand part. And as you can see, I'm also doing the same thing I did for the closure. I'm passing the needle in between the thread. I am not just sewing it the way you normally sew a clothes or the way you normally sew a top or something. I'm passing it in between the threads. You can see how my hand is moving and how my hand is going. That's basically it. No struggle, not too much going on. Just watch and learn and try to get a calculation of what you're doing, and you enjoy it. Trust me. Keep on going around in circles, keep on going around in circles, and be careful not to hurt yourself. Even in as much as you're gonna hurt yourself, trust me, you're gonna hurt yourself, because I think I actually that needle pierced my one of my finger at a point, but you get used to it. Trust me. So I already removed the pin and I'm going round. The reason why I removed the pin right now is because I'm getting to the end parts and I need to hold it down. I need to hold one side of the weave. This might not be comfortable for you. I'm just doing what works for me, and if it works for you too, then you're good to go. So I'm holding it right now and I'm sewing. Also ensure to be very careful so as not to hurt yourself, and you keep on sewing down till you get to the end. And if you notice, I'm using a single weft, obviously, like I'm using a single weave on. I'm not using the normal double weave. Like, I don't know, I just don't want this hair to be very full, and this method really works for me. So I've gotten to the hand part, I already cut it, and I took double of my thread to be able to tie it. So you can tie it like 2 to 3 times. This tying method is just for it to just be very stable, and you obviously don't want to wear your wig and one part is already loosening. Trust me, you don't want that, so you need to tie it down for it to be very stable. So I'm combing it right now because I like to. So this is the second weave that I'm using right now, and I'm going to use the same method I used for the previous weave, just passing it in between the wig cap and not under the wig cap, and obviously sewing it down. Same method, no struggle. The interesting part of this tutorial is the fact that you use the same method. So that's a pin to hold it down at the hand. Pins are very, very useful and very, very helpful when sewing your weave on. It helps a lot when you pin down your weaves while sewing. You're not gonna have so much of a struggle sewing it round. So I'm just sewing all through, and you can see how easy it is, and keep on going that way, keep on going that way, keep on going that way. Trust me, it's it's looking really fast right now, but it's not honestly as fast as it is. I think I spent like a couple of hours sewing the whole wig itself. So baby girl, just sit back and just keep on doing this. So at that point my thread finished, because it's gonna happen to you too. So you just cut it out, you sew it, and you take another thread, you pass it again, you sew again and keep on sewing. Just same method over and over and over and over and over and over and over again till your hands get tired, till you raise up your hands to keep on sewing again. I'm almost getting to the end part right now, and you're gonna see me taking up my scissor right now to cut the weave on when I get to the end part. Normally, if you're going to use a double weave, you don't need to cut it, but since I'm not using a double weave, I have to cut it. So I've gotten to the third part, and yes. As you guys can see, I've already sewn a lot, and I'm almost finishing this week right now. So I think this is like, I don't know how many weaves I've put right now. I didn't calculate that, but this should be like perhaps the 12th one I'm passing around right now. So same method, still sewing it down. And if you can see, that part of my wig cap is thick. That part I am sewing with the weave is thick, so be careful, because if you're using a mesh cap like mine and not a net cap, you're going to have to be careful at that part, because once you're passing your thread into something thick and into something thicker, because the weft is thick too, it's gonna have to be very, very smooth, and you have to be very careful so as not to hurt your hands. Do you understand? So baby girl, just keep on using the same method. Pin your weave down. Do not forget to pin your weave. So I'm getting to the end part of this weave, so I'm just gonna cut my thread and tie it down, then I'll cut the weave. Make sure to tie down the thread first before cutting, so as not to make any mistakes. Okay, so this is the last weave I'm using for this wig, and as you can see, this is the part where I sew the weave with the closure. So Gently sew the weave with the tip of the closure and sew round. Do not forget that. Gently sew the weave with the tip of the closure and sew round. You wouldn't want to sew the weave on top of the closure. You honestly don't want such a work done after all the hard work and that part is looking like that. Trust me, you don't want that. Gently sew the weave with the tip of the closure and sew round. So I already got to the hand part of this weave, and just take 2 hands of the thread, double of the thread, and you tie it down like 2 to 3 times, just like how we've been doing this thing together right from the beginning. So you need to be really careful at this part while cutting, so you won't cut this weave with the closure. I took okay, so be really careful, do not cut with the closure, be really careful. So I already did that. Perfect. So once you're done sewing, turn in your closures to the wrong side to cut the cap on the closure part, and you have to be really careful when you get to this part so you won't cut your closure with that cap. You don't want to do that. You're going to cry if that happens. But you honestly don't want to do that. I'm already done cutting that part out, and you can see how neat this was sewn. Wow, this is neatly sewn. This is the kind of job you want to have. So we've come to the end of this journey, and I'm just brushing this wig out, and you guys are gonna see in the next clip how I work this. How beautiful this turned out, and in case you're wondering, I already straightened and bobbed this wig, and I'm gonna post a video on that soon. So bye guys.